A shed update, and we're not going to be adding any models. I was going to, but I am waiting for them to come to the house. It actually should have been here a couple days ago, but it ain't going to be here till like Tuesday, Wednesday, so we'll have to do it next week. But thing I want to talk about today, Toys R Us. Everyone knows that they're about to shut their doors in the U.S., and I think they've already done it in the U.K., or they're in the process of doing it. But I wanted to talk about the model aspect of Toys R Us, because at one time they were like Walmart and Kmart and everywhere. They sold model kits too, and number one, they were always usually the first before the local mom and pop stores. And I got to say this too. This was basically before the internet. I mean, you had the internet around, but it really wasn't. You wasn't buying online. You actually went to a physical, brick and mortar store. But they actually had Star Trek kits first, and I can vividly remember, when the B came out, the C came out. I mean, you went to Toys R Us and you were almost could get it a week, maybe 2 to 3 weeks before the hobby store would ever get one. It was always, and that was about the only kit that they could ever get. Now they could get like, and I probably don't got any around here. Well, for example, Revell, they sold a lot of Revell kits, which they sold space shuttles and other stuff like that. But on Star Trek, they pretty much had I won't say the marking on it back in the day. Now they did have a couple Polar Lights kits. I have seen a few there. Now the old I don't want to say reissues, they didn't really have them. They pretty much had I call it the long boxes, and those were in the store. So I always vividly remember getting those. Now they did have car kits, and we won't go upstairs and see the ever growing car kit collection, but they did have some, and they still do to this day. You just got to look. It's kind of more of a metal car body type model, but it's still classified as a model. One model kit that I do know for a fact that Toys R Us had, they had the Dune kits, and I remember going, and I was just actually shocked that they even had it. And I really was they had all three. I was actually going to get either going to get the Sandworm or that one. I was one of those, they're just odd, and that was when the movie came out, and the movie came out in what, 80 something, 85, and I went back the next week because I just saved my money to go get one of these kits, because they were high dollar in 1985. I want to say even $20–$30, that's big money back then. And I went back and they were gone. I have never seen one. 30–40 years later, I finally am able to get at least a Sandworm, which I'd like to have another one. But anyway, I do remember that kit there. Vaguely remember He-Man. I know that they had a big aisle of He-Man. I know some of the models were in there. Vaguely remember it, but they did carry quite a few. Just like Walmart and Target, they carry models and they go through a phase and they get rid of them, and then they bring back. They trickle in a little bit. But anyway, that's I do remember some. That's Dune's one of those that I always remember, because I went back to get it and it was gone. Then shift forward a little bit forward in time. They came back out with the Universal Monsters, and I'll show you they had it in clearance for $3.90. You could, they probably marked it down even more if I remember correctly. But anyway, they had a 5-pack. That was a Toys R Us exclusive, and I was like, man, I really don't want that. When you can get the, you can get all the monster kits, for a fraction of the price than buying the big one. Well, let me say this, to kick myself in the behind, I really should have, well, even $9.98, really good buy. Of course, back then, that's probably late 90s, maybe early 2000. But anyway, that's just one of those. I should have bought the big 4-pack, which that reminds me, the big 4-pack was also. Do I have any handy, or did I bury it? Where's the Planet of the Apes? Oh, surely they're not. Where did I put them? I think they're down there. I'm almost certain. If they're not there, they're behind there. But anyway, they had a 4-pack of the monsters. They had a 4-pack of the Planet of the Apes figures, which I should have bought them too. But again, you can buy 4 figures for, the fraction of the price of buying all 4 in one big box, which again, I should have done it. But anyway, we live and learn. We'll try to get one for the Ark someday. Oh, and I remember this because no one really wanted it. Where are you? Ah, there you are. You can see the old Toys R Us stickers. They had a bunch of Naboo Fighters, and I mean, I filled up a shopping cart because there's actually a stack all the way up, and there's a stack in the back all the way up, and they're all Naboo Fighters, and I mean, they were cheap, really cheap, and I bought every one of them. I thought, I do like them because they're 48 scale, and I think they're usable for almost anything. If you watch the new cartoons with the girls in it, the Forces of Destiny, they have, I know Padme has like a white one. So anyway, that's, you know, hey, that's just me and me thinking out loud. But anyway, that's a quick update of what I wanted to talk about. Toys R Us did sell models, and there is a few stories of models in here from a Toys R Us store here in town that I always frequent. And you can tell, you know, even Star Trek kids still got the Toys R Us price tag with the, what, $17.99 for the Gaylord. I mean, it's just nuts. You know, how models trickled into toy stores and all that the way I think it should be. But anyway, that's what I've got going on today. I should have, hopefully, some models in next week, and we'll discuss that. But I want to talk, touch base and talk a little bit about how Toys R Us was a distributor of model kits. So that's what I got going on today, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.